Before we start today's episode, I would just like to give a shout out that we are now in partnership with stn.daily on Instagram. They're a daily football news and transfer rumour page that has a lot of great content. So please feel free to head over to them, give them a follow, drop them a like. It's really going to help them out and it's really going to help us out as well. So thank you very much and enjoy today's episode.
Hello and welcome to the Footy Social episode 5. We're here today with our guest Jamie, who is a big Liverpool fan. If you've been following us on social media, you would probably have guessed that. We are also today, obviously, we're going to carry on with our host versus guest quiz, and it's currently, what's the score, Daniel?
Is it 3-0 or 4-0?
It's 3-0 to the hosts. Yeah. So Jamie is on here. No pressure on him, to be fair, because none of the guests have won yet. He's ready to try and beat me. Daniel will be quizzing me later on, and Jamie, of course. And then we'll be rounding things off with FA Cup chat, because it's FA Cup weekend, and a bit of Champions League coverage from the current weeks and the draws today as well. So we've got a lot of things coming your way on today's podcast, so get seated and yeah.
Well, I think there's only one place to start, and that is with Liverpool at the moment, who obviously you'd expect to be absolutely nowhere near where they are right now on the table. So I just kind of want to see, from a Liverpool fan's perspective, what the hell has happened.
Well, yeah, obviously it was a shock. Being champions, and not even just being champions. You know, the past few years, it's been fantastic. And then you kind of, the start of the season, it was all right. Diogo Jota was a very good signing. Scored some key goals, kind of kept us in it for a little bit, and then he got injured, and then I think we started to notice. People say about Van Dijk, yes, obviously anyone would miss Van Dijk, but it's not Van Dijk. I think it's the playing style. You take Van Dijk out of the scenario, and we can't play as attacking as we want because we've got no one to cover.
When he first got injured, you still won about your next 6 or 7 games, didn't you?
Exactly, and it was because I don't know. It's like we had it planned, and then Matip got injured. Gomez, he's out for the rest of the season. It's just so many players came out. It was kind of like, right, do we have a plan B? I don't think we did have a plan B. I think that was a problem. We're still playing the same style without the same players, if that makes sense. Haven't adapted very well. Trent's been caught out on numerous occasions just because he's playing so high up.
Well, I mean, Trent was never really a good defender, was it? It was just he had 3 other great defenders covering him, and now 2 of them are gone.
Exactly.
He's struggling.
Who are the 2 that have gone?
Well, Gomez and Van Dijk next to him.
I've got question marks over Gomez, but Van Dijk especially. So would you say it's more maybe your midfield? I mean, you ever play in midfield 3, but there's kind of 4 players you'd say, which Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago would be the 4 interchangeable players in that midfield. Is it sort of the thing they haven't really been able to play together fully this season because of the injuries? 2 of them have to drop into centre half.
Exactly, yeah. So they're both not playing in the positions that they're supposed. Obviously, they're professionals; they do what they're told. But Fabinho, to be fair, he's done pretty well in playing as a centre back. But we need that cover in the midfield because I read somewhere is Klopp's like it's so much easier getting the ball, up the field because it saves so much more energy. It's like the way that we play. Some people say it looks so tiring, and that might be why we're getting injuries. But we rely on getting the ball further field and running less, and basically that's why we score so many goals. But we just,
Yeah, well, I mean, the main issues you found this season is just opening teams up. Really, it's not even like your defence hasn't really been under the microscope. You don't concede that many. It's always 1-0, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's literally just. It's not a case of my god, your defence looks like a shot. Apart from maybe the Leicester game was maybe one time you're actually getting shredded to pieces.
And the Villa game.
And the Villa game,
Van
but
Dijk for that.
that was with Van Dijk.
Yeah.
So it's not been a case of like you're just getting done on the counter every single 5 minutes because you haven't got the centre backs to cover. It's literally just been a case of teams just sit back and just know that you're just not going to score.
Yeah.
You just don't ever look like scoring unless it's against Leipzig.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. I don't know whether it's our playing style favours playing teams from abroad, or it's...
I guess teams from abroad just haven't wisened up to what's going on yet. They haven't done their homework.
Yeah,
I think teams from abroad are poorer than they've ever been. I think the Premier League is so strong.
Yeah, that also doesn't help matters. But
people argue that Premier League's the worst it's ever been, but you could also argue football in general is the worst it's ever been. But a question for you, Jamie.
Yeah.
So Gary Neville always says at Man United, obviously they dominated for 20 years. With under Fergie, they probably dominated from the early 90s to about early. About 2013 was their last title. Pure domination through most of those years. But you hear Gary Neville when he speaks and he says that those great sides, they had about 2, maybe 3 years at the top, and they always had a season where they dipped.
Yeah.
You can't maintain that level for season after season after season, unless the league is horrendous like Celtic have done, or PSG or Bayern Munich. In the Premier League, you can't maintain that for season in, season out. You look at Man City, their dip was last season, now they're back. So are you sort of thinking this is just a dip this season and you'll be back to your best next year?
Yeah, well, I think this is definitely form-wise. Yeah, we're not going to see this, next season. Maybe I'm not sure about winning it next season, just because Man City,
we don't know who they're going to buy in the summer as well.
Exactly,
and Chelsea.
And to compete with teams like that, I've always said you have to have 2 teams. You have to have, Man City. You look at their bench. That could still be.
Oh yeah, against Fulham last week it was like mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean their second 11 will be top 4 easily, wouldn't
exactly.
it? Yeah, like in their first 11's top of the league.
That's where Liverpool's lacking. Well, we've seen with the centre backs. We didn't have a proper centre back until January, where we bought Kabak and Davies.
Davies hasn't really played though.
He hasn't played. No, Klopp said he's basically just training at the moment, trying to transition.
He reminds me of a freak January buy that we bought from the same club. 3 years, it seems like 3 years ago. Can you name the player
from Preston?
Yeah,
no clue.
Jordan Hugill.
Oh goodness!
Yeah, from Preston
goodness
into the Premier League, and I think he played like twice and was rubbish.
Yeah.
But yeah, Davies needs to be given a chance.
Definitely.
So obviously Liverpool Premier League not going great, but top 4 is still on. Last weekend, your top 4 rivals all lost. Chelsea didn't lose, dropped points. Chelsea dropped points, Tottenham dropped points, West Ham dropped points, and Everton dropped points. Liverpool, the only team who won out of those 5, all chasing the Champions League, that 4th position. So that must have been a good weekend for Liverpool. So things aren't looking too bad. I mean, you're a couple of points behind us. I know we've got a game in hand on you, but it's still 10 games to go. There's still a long way to go. So,
and I'm not sure how the run is either.
Yeah, what's your running like?
I'm not actually too sure.
What? So we obviously you'll take 4th. Top 4,
definitely.
Champions League football again.
Yeah, that's going to obviously be the key point. At the moment, it looks like we're trying to play the hard game, where win the Champions League.
That was my next question.
Personally, I think 5th. We'll be lucky to get 5th, and it'll be between us and West Ham. That is my kind of prediction.
I hope it is. I hope we're up there. I really hope we are.
I think that game in hand will hurt us. I really do. I think that will be the difference.
Well, our game in hand is coming this weekend against Arsenal. So Arsenal, they could turn up and beat us, but again, Arsenal are so unpredictable. They could turn up and we could smash them.
Yeah.
So you just don't know how things are going to go.
So you're saying it's more likely for you to win the Champions League, or is that what you prefer? Or is it a mixture of both?
At the moment, I think, it kind of would be more likely. Obviously, it's the hard.
So you're saying it's more likely to win for Liverpool to win the Champions League than finish in 4th position, because Chelsea are 4th currently.
Yeah.
And how many points have Chelsea on?
We could have gone third. So
I think you're 5 points behind Chelsea, with the same
gap.
amount of games played, with the 10 games to go. So it's not top 4 isn't finished for you. I think Liverpool can still definitely get it. So, but you still say you might like to win the Champions League.
Yeah. I think obviously every Liverpool fan will be like, we don't care about the Premier League now because obviously we're playing bad. Champions League is going to be the main focus. We're out of everything else. Obviously, getting 4th place is, we need it. If we're looking at buying players this year, players aren't going to look at us the same way as they did last year if we didn't even get 4th place.
Well, no players looked at you last year. Didn't buy any.
Well,
Thiago.
But we were a very attractive club. Obviously, because
you still are from last season because City had a dip last year.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, they still finished second, didn't they?
Yeah, with about 82 points.
Yeah, and that was their dip. And that was their poor season.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it is. I think you're right in that it's probably it will be easier to win the Champions League because at the end of the day, like 10 league games, if you win 50% of them,
true.
If you win 50% of your league games and lose 3, draw 2. Yeah. You're not getting top 4. Champions League, you can win a game, draw a game, and you're into the next round.
Exactly.
Or you can draw 2 games, you're into the next round. You don't have to be consistent for 10 games.
Liverpool, and I think Klopp favours playing 2 legs. He loves it.
You do play well over 2 legs.
Yeah, just very clever. That's it. It's just clever football.
So talking about Champions League. The draw was today. You know who you're playing in the quarters, semis, and finals. So you know your road to Istanbul.
Yeah.
So that's sort of now how you're going to do it. Has the draw turned out in a good way or a bad way for Liverpool?
I think most Liverpool fans are pleased. I really do. I think obviously we've got Real Madrid. You could question they're not the same team that they used to be.
100% not.
No. But they are still Real Madrid.
Exactly.
I mean, if you'd looked at the Champions League 3 years ago, 3 years ago, who didn't you want to draw? The best 2 teams in the world at that time are Real Madrid and Liverpool. Yeah. Now they're both, I wouldn't mind drawing either of those, to be honest.
Exactly.
And I think one side of the draw is really got the best 3 teams in City, Bayern and PSG, and then the side that both your clubs are in look really promising that both Chelsea and Liverpool could actually reach a Champions League final this year. And then probably lose to Man City or Bayern Munich in the final. But
anything can happen in a one-off game, though, can't it?
Yeah, I think reaching the final should be at least both Chelsea and Liverpool's aims now because there's no Bayern Munich, no Man City, no PSG in the way. Chelsea should be confident of beating all 3 of those teams, and so should Liverpool. From biased opinions, who's going to be playing Man City in Istanbul?
Well, I mean, if you go on current form and just the way you've been playing for the last 15 games, I mean, Chelsea just look the clear favourites. First of all, we got to get past Porto, which, I mean, we will. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but it's like if we don't get past Porto, we didn't deserve to get to the semis anyway, so we can't complain. We are clearly a better side. We've got a better squad than them, but I think Liverpool still have to beat Real Madrid first.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be a case of Nat Phillips and Kabak against Benzema. He's probably still at his age one of the most informed strikers in Europe.
Scores goals,
yeah. Actually, don't write off Real Madrid because they could beat Liverpool and then beat Chelsea, and they'll be in the Champions League final.
I mean, you still look at that. You still look at that squad on paper. They've got Modric, they've got Kroos, they've got Varane, they've got even Courtois in goal.
You see Modric's assist for the Benzema's goal.
Yeah, so it reminds me.
It was class.
I mean, Guti back here with it donkeys years ago.
Yeah, Guti. So, they've basically got the same team that they had 3 years ago without Ronaldo, but that team is an ageing team. You look at Modric, he's now 34. Kroos is in his 30s. Ramos is ageing. Casemiro's getting on. They're all getting on. So that's why the team has digressed in the recent years and they've lost their best player.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be a walk in the park against them.
No.
It's going to be a great
game. Salah can get his revenge on Sergio Ramos.
You'll be playing the first leg away from home, from Anfield, which will be at the Real Madrid training ground.
Oh, okay.
Because they're having their Bernabeu redeveloped. So I don't know if that changes things. Probably won't.
They lost there to Shakhtar Donetsk earlier.
Yeah, I suppose there's no fans either way, is there? And the only aspect will be the travelling, and that will be it. I mean, I'm fairly confident, and I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans who are pretty confident about this draw.
So you're Liverpool. What's your aim for the rest of the season then? So
the aim would be, obviously, to win the rest of the games that we have in the Premier League season.
Yeah, great. That's a great aim to have, actually. That's the answer I never would expect from everyone, but it's a really good answer. Just to win, not get Champions League. Just win. Just we'll do our job, and we'll see what everyone else does.
It's such a cliche. It's like when managers come out after the game and they're like, "Are you talking about titles?" Like, no, we're just thinking about Brighton at the weekend. We're thinking about Brighton on Wednesday.
We want to win our games. If we win our games, then Moyes always says that. If we win our games, then we should be up and around there, which is true. If all you need to do is focus on your own games, there's no point focusing on other teams because they'll do what they're going to do. Yeah. So if you win all your games, how many Champions League will be on 4th spot?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that is depending.
If you go 100%, but Chelsea can drop 5 points because they've dropped 2 in their last.
Because there's a big gap, isn't there?
Dropped 4 even.
We've got a very easy running.
4, sorry.
We've got a very easy running. I think we've got about.
You've still got Man City to play.
Yeah, that's the last. So I think we've got our next 6 games are the easy ones, and then the last 4 we've got Arsenal, Leicester City, and I think Villa. And the other 6.
We've got West Ham, so as well.
Yeah, that actually could be a really big game.
I'm not looking forward to it because Chelsea look good. But so yeah, your aim for the season. I did really interrupt you, but to win all your games, which means Champions League football, and would you have say another aim is to win Champions League?
Yeah, I think. I mean, Klopp would say, get into the Champions League, your top 4. He probably wouldn't, say, "Oh, yeah, we're going to win the Champions League." Injuries is going to be another strong point, but it's a part of the game.
Yeah, it's true, very true.
And people just, I think we fail to prepare for a part of the game, which is injuries.
Yeah, that's just a really fair point. Like, I said it in the summer as well. When you sold Lovren and didn't replace him, I thought that could easily come back to bite you. Yeah. It did come back to bite you, and most Liverpool fans then sort of were crying, it's our bad luck. But you've just said the real thing, which is it's just poor squad management, really, wasn't it? Definitely. It was just poor squad planning that's put you in this position.
Yeah, so definitely Liverpool should be able to win the Champions League, especially with the run that they have had. So now we're going to move on to some viewer questions, keeping it Liverpool based. My first Liverpool question I've got is from Morgan Hill, 20.
We love Morgan.
And he says, if you had to keep one and sell one, who would you keep or sell out of Mane and Salah?
Okay.
So you can take all forms of opinions.
All right.
Yeah, it's just them two because.
I think everyone wants to get rid of Firmino. It's a bit an easy question, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's not a question.
I think in terms of work rate, Mane is just the next level. Salah scores more goals.
You sound like Boyd there talking about John McGinn.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if it's all about work rate, you'd play N'Golo
Kante
Kante on the wing.
Yeah,
exactly.
McGinn and Kante on the wings.
But I think he has a lot more. You definitely notice when he's not playing, and that is the thing. Also, I think Salah would get more money, and that is the thing. They're both coming.
How old are they? They're both
coming up
late
to 30s.
30s, yeah.
About
So
28 each.
It's, do we cash in? And how much would you get for Salah? You get over 100 million just for his name, and that's what football's about. At the moment.
His age, probably around 100 maybe.
Yeah.
Well, considering Griezmann was about the same age, he went for 120.
Yeah. So what's your answer to the question? So you sell
think
Salah, and with that money, it's always part of the question, but I was going on with that money, who would you bring in to replace Salah? Because you can't sell Salah and then not bring anyone in.
All right. So this would be requiring Champions League, obviously.
Yeah.
But
let's say you're in Champions League.
Mbappe.
Yeah, Mbappe over Haaland.
Just because.
I think for Liverpool that is a good better
Not
idea.
the same position, though, aren't they?
But
You'd still need a right winger then if you get rid
Mbappe is
of
more
right winger.
flexible.
Yeah, true.
Mbappe,
You got Jota, you can play out there.
Yeah, exactly. Mbappe, he looks a bit more. He could play on the wing if you wanted him to. And so I think Mbappe. And
I think to sell Salah and to fund Mbappe, because that's the only way Liverpool will do it.
Definitely.
Like how they sold Coutinho to fund Van Dijk and Fabinho and Alisson.
Yeah.
I'm just in shock, to be honest. I'd get rid of Mane in a heartbeat.
Really?
I mean, Salah is a guaranteed 30 goal a season player. That is unreal.
I would agree with Daniel.
It is unreal. You cannot, and you said there replace Salah. You can't replace Salah.
Yeah, but
No matter unless you're getting in a prime Messi or Ronaldo, you can't replace Salah's numbers. Salah's
You
numbers
still
are
get
insane.
about 70, 80 million for Mane.
Yeah. And Mane's
yeah.
had a terrible season. I mean, he's got less goals than Werner in the league, hasn't he?
Yeah,
So
Mane's not been great this season.
That is a fair point. Obviously, based on this season,
And Salah's had Liverpool have had a poor season. Salah's still top goal scorer in the league. I mean, even with penalties, but I mean, the goals in the day, you still got to stick them in the net.
I
ain't you?
think you've also got to think about it this way: if they both get offers, who's more likely to go? I think Salah would more likely leave.
But who would buy Salah? You got to think
Real
about
Madrid.
this. Can Real Madrid afford him though? Because I know Real Madrid and Barcelona are struggling financially.
True.
They're struggling.
Obviously, Real Madrid have been linked with Mbappe, and Mbappe is going to be. Oh, we'd hate to.
How long has he got left on his PSG contract?
Is it next season?
I think it's 2022.
Yeah.
It expires. But
So
also, I just
will
think Mbappe's more of a
PSG?
Real Madrid signing as well.
Yeah, will PSG be looking to cash in this summer?
Most likely.
And replace him with
Because they
Salah
won't
instead.
they're not going to let Mbappe leave on a free.
Yeah,
They could. PSG could sell Mbappe to Real Madrid and replace him with Salah.
Aren't they? They're going to get a big name to replace
But
Mbappe sells you more shirts
Can
than Salah.
Real Madrid afford Mbappe with their current climate? Real Madrid are
I don't know. I don't.
not in a bad place.
I never
as
understand. 'Cause at the end
Barcelona,
of the day, you can't reel them out because in the end they're still Real Madrid, aren't they?
Yeah, true. And
Like
everyone was going to play for them. I think Salah might end up there. It looks like that could happen.
That's the thing. And honestly, I think Mane would happily stay. But it's like I said, just realistically, it's more likely what player wants to leave in that Liverpool squad. If Klopp had his way, he probably wouldn't get rid of any of them because they've done so well.
Of course.
I just think you can't build a team around Mane, but you can definitely build a team around Salah. You should be building a team around Salah this season. That's part of the issue.
In my opinion, they should start buying now for this, for the future. Basically.
So, I mean, what do you need transfer-wise? We talked a bit about this last week, didn't we? But I want to hear it from a Liverpool fan. You're in the market. You've got 200 million to spend on players, plus plus anyone you sell.
Yeah.
So you got a bit of money, which I don't know if you have that much money, but let's say you do.
FSG never spend that much money though, do they?
No.
We just had new investors.
So who do you need? Centre half, striker, midfield looks pretty stacked to be honest. Still,
We need a striker.
someone who can put the ball
we
away.
can't rely
You need
on,
an actual striker,
we
not a
can't
false
rely
nine.
on Firmino. Does that mean get rid of Firmino? Not necessarily.
There's a good striker down at Southampton that you could buy back. Danny Ings. Which striker would you go for then? Because Haaland is unrealistic for Liverpool.
Yeah.
He looks destined for Man City.
Well, Haaland's got a Man City audition, isn't he? In the cause.
He has.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those ones where, on like some YouTube channel in 15 years' time, it'd be like, this is the game that made Man City buy
When
Haaland.
Costa knocked us out of the Champions League in 2014 and we bought him 2 months later in the summer.
Yeah, well,
So there's some good Premier League strikers out there. You've obviously got Bamford scoring goals for fun.
Yeah.
Ollie Watkins scoring a lot of goals for Villa. Calvert-Lewin, that could be a big steal from your rivals. I can't see that happening. But
no.
who is there any strikers you're looking at? Maybe thinking, well, I'd like them at Liverpool.
Well, I think there's one obvious name. Diego Jota. You've already got one.
Exactly, yeah. So that was.
But you need more. You need more.
You need a backup.
I think the way we're going to go around it is, Jota will be the new number 9, if you like, and maybe bring on someone like Rafinha from Leeds. I
Yeah,
think
nice.
He's
Nice
definitely
signing.
a Liverpool type of player.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him and Klopp getting on very well.
Klopp normally.
They've only just bought him 30 million though, so he's going to be about 50-60.
Oh,
So that's a big chunk of money on a player who's.
And we don't normally buy big
average.
names. Liverpool like to develop players, which sometimes is good, but it's very frustrating. It's more of a long-term plan, isn't it? It's not like.
I quite like that philosophy.
Yeah.
Rather than just buying the best.
Buying's boring, isn't it? It's kind of killing football.
Well, it's what Man City
City.
do. Chelsea definitely do it.
Maybe try it.
No,
You think
Chelsea
they're the
try it. Yeah. So I mean, you say Salah. You say sell Salah. Me and Daniel would say sell Mane. We've got a few more Liverpool questions. Just one from Louis Rudd is. This is just a quick answer. Klopp in or out?
In.
Yeah, 100%. Anyone who's saying Klopp out does not know football.
No.
It's like calling for Sir Alex's head when Man United had a dip in form. Although I don't think Man United finished below like third, and I think
he never finished fourth in his career.
Yeah, it's Liverpool fans don't want Klopp to leave.
The issue with Klopp leaving is that Klopp will leave. It's not going to be he's going to get sacked.
Exactly. Yeah. He will. They're not going to sack him. He will leave.
Klopp will stay, I think. And then if this season is the same next season, then I'll be worried for him to just go an arm off.
Personally, no matter what happens, I don't think he's going to sign a new contract.
How long's his current contract?
He runs out 2023.
So he's got 2 more years.
And he said the other day, I think he said yesterday or the other day before that when he leaves Liverpool, he's going to take a sabbatical year as well.
Yeah, he's won. Obviously, he doesn't try in any cup games, so you can't. He's not going to go for them. But he's won both the trophies he's came in to win for Liverpool, which was the Champions League and the Premier League. He's done his job.
It just brings me flashbacks to his Dortmund tenure. Like, they won the league twice, had a really good year in the Champions League, got to a final, lost the final, and then like a couple of years later, I think he resigned when they were in like the relegation zone or something, didn't they? They just had this remarkable.
Yeah, they looked like they were going to go down.
Yeah, they had this remarkable drop out, and it's literally it's bringing me flashbacks to what's happening now. Like, obviously, you're not going to end up in the relegation zone because there are teams that are just terrible. Like next year, but I mean, if the same thing does sort of happen last year, where you have a terrible start, you might just resign in November and just sort of say it's best for all parties, really.
Who would you so Klopp contract? Say Klopp sees out his contract and wants to take a year off and then do something else. Who would you bring in? Because I'm thinking there's one obvious man to take the reins at Anfield.
Everyone obviously wants Gerrard, but in my opinion, he needs to go to another club first. He needs to leave Scotland, get out of the Scottish League and go to a league, maybe a team that's got more money, because I imagine it's a completely different ball game when you've got directors coming at you with 100 million and saying, right, this is what we're going to spend, what are you going to do with it?
And also, everything you've just said isn't theoretical, because we've seen it with a certain other English midfielder taking over.
I think personally, I don't think Gerrard to Liverpool yet. I think give it another. He needs to work his way. He's done great at Rangers. Gerrard's. He needs to work in a different some more leagues. I think he's done Scottish League. He needs to try his way up, work his way up in the English leagues. You can't also go from Scottish best team in Scotland to one of the best teams in England. Yeah. Take a Southampton or a Palace.
Like what Brendan Rodgers did. Yeah. Brendan Rodgers, when he left Celtic, him going to Leicester was an amazing move for his career. Yeah, absolutely perfect.
Like Lampard was way too early. You never know. 10 years time, Lampard could have taken the Chelsea. He won't now. I can't see him ever going back to Chelsea.
He may come back in 10 years a world-class manager.
He may. I can't see that. But not that him being world-class. But I don't think Chelsea would take him back after sacking him.
Yeah.
I think for Gerrard, what could happen is, so let's say next season, team's struggling, rock bottom, in late November, December time, and they offer Gerrard, and I think he would probably go.
I think Palace would be a good move, because Roy Hodgson is going to go.
He's about 85.
He's way too old.
It's got to be a club that obviously has no rivalries with Liverpool or anything like that.
And I think Gerrard managing players like Zaha and Eberechi Eze would be great fun to watch.
See. But yeah, I think, let's say Klopp did, he leaves tomorrow. I like the Leipzig manager.
Yeah. That was the one I was going to say.
Well.
I think I can see Nagelsmann to Liverpool. I don't think Gerrard. I think if they go for Gerrard, I can see it being like Lampard and Chelsea. Lampard wanted to stay at Derby, but then Chelsea came knocking, and Lampard's not going to say no, is he? Yeah. It'll be the same as when Gerrard. If Liverpool come knocking for Gerrard, he's not going to say no. He will go. But as a Liverpool point of view, and how Chelsea, what we've seen happen at Chelsea, I think just relax on Gerrard. He may well be the manager in the future. It doesn't mean that's to be the one now.
It's a long-term plan.
Go for Nagelsmann, because he looks very good. And if Nagelsmann's rubbish, then he's not a Liverpool legend. No one's going to care if you bin him off. Yeah. But Nagelsmann looks very good.
I think the reason that they're not going to go for Gerrard is because they're not desperate. Like we hired Lampard because, I mean, not being funny, but he's probably the only guy who would take the job. We had a transfer ban. We just sold Eden Hazard. I think if you checked every single league prediction that summer, everyone predicted we'd finish 10th.
Who were the other candidates for the Chelsea job at the time?
They're literally, I cannot remember a single one being named. It was literally just as soon as Sarri was announced that he was going to Juventus, it was like, right, well, Lampard's going to come. We just need to pay off Derby. Yeah. Liverpool in the summer, if Klopp does say, right, I've had a poor season, but Liverpool are in the let's say they're in the Europa League, so they're still a decent proposition, but obviously there's work to do.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a case of, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching Mane, Salah and Firmino up front. I'm not going near that squad with Van Dijk at the back. You're going to have managers begging on their knees to come to the club.
Yeah. I think Nagelsmann, the way Leipzig plays, similar to Liverpool.
So that guy,
I can see him.
And stuff.
Yeah, I can see him being the heir. Like Leipzig love their. I love how their philosophy, even though they're in Germany, they're seen as like money, like whatever they're like fake club like the MK Dons, just a good MK Dons. Even though they're seen like that in Germany, I like the way their club runs. They buy young players and they improve them and develop them. Even though they are really rich, they could buy the best players, but that's not how their philosophy is run.
And they don't hoard on to their talents either.
Yeah, they let them go.
If they think there's a move that's better for the player's career, they let them go.
Yeah, which they wouldn't. Which Liverpool wouldn't do. That's the difference between Liverpool and probably Leipzig. But yeah, Sonny Nagelsmann is the heir to that throne at Anfield.
I agree. Yeah.
Surely that's the one you want.
But also, I'd also say Nagelsmann's quite a good fit for Tottenham.
That is also true.
And that is a club with less expectations, so he may be tempted.
Look at Jose Mourinho sort of went there and thought, I'm going to go there because less expectations, and even he's finding it. Like I actually felt a bit sorry for Mourinho last night because you could see, yes, he could take part of the blame, but it wasn't. The players just weren't playing.
No.
Yeah,
like no matter what manager they have, the players weren't up for it.
I mean, it's just literally just the culture. It's just the culture of Tottenham is that they will never win anything. Just because of how that club exists and how they.
I think we're more likely to win something than Tottenham.
100%. Well, I can see West Ham winning a Carabao Cup more than Tottenham.
Yeah, I probably could do the same.
And they're in a final next week.
Yeah. So we've got a few more Liverpool questions for you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Curtis Jones, next big thing from Morgan Hill 20 again.
He keeps trying it.
Is he also a Liverpool fan?
Morgan, yeah.
Yeah. We love Morgan. Next big thing, no. I really enjoy watching Curtis Jones play.
How old is he? 19?
20. I think he's about 20.
And where would you see his peak career being like similarised to? Will he be he's Liverpool first team player at the moment, really, but he's not tearing.
At the moment, and this is, it's quite big. You're probably looking at maybe a Coutinho.
Well, he's going to have a...
Do you think he's in attacking mid?
So do you think he's going to be... Yeah. Is he in the England under-21 squad?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
He must be, yeah. Him and Tom Davies.
He's more of an attacking player. He loves taking players on. He's quite skillful. But at the moment, it's like you watch him and he tries to take on so many players and he just loses the ball. I think he needs to grow more mentally rather than...
Yeah, I like him, but he's just no Phil Foden, is he?
No, and at the moment he's got to play quite deep because we're just not getting the possession. Like
he's unlucky. He's sort of... I mean, he was around when you won the league and you won the Champions League, but his breakthrough season has technically... I know he broke through against Everton in the Cup, but that's a Cup game. Yeah. His Premier League, where he started playing more Premier League minutes, has been this season, but then Liverpool hasn't been as good. If he came through last season, people would probably be like, look at Curtis Jones, he's as good as... He'd probably have an England cap, and he'd be probably on the same level people were talking about up here, like Foden and Saka and the rest of them.
It's just a case of Henderson and Fabinho playing would be playing in his position where they're having to be playing centre back.
Exactly.
That's why he's getting game time.
If you had Curtis Jones with Henderson and Fabinho next to him, he looked like Phil Foden's twin brother.
I think we're going to rely on Curtis Jones in the next few years.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Wijnaldum will leave this summer
on a free.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
You often see it by this time.
He's 30 years old.
They sign a contract.
He want to go. Everyone wants to play for those two big clubs in Spain, don't they? No matter if they're the best team in the world at the time or they're as they are now
if he
at
was
bang
average.
Sign it,
he would have done it already.
Yeah,
especially after winning the Premier League.
And it wouldn't be the biggest loss. He's given you some great moments in Champions League, Premier League.
He was brilliant.
And it's probably his time to move on. To be fair, especially with if you want to be buying more younger players to bring through and then to replace Wijnaldum with. So this is an interesting one from Liam WH88. He says, best front three in the world. Is it Firmino, Mane and Salah still?
I mean, front threes.
Front threes aren't really a thing at the moment.
They're not as good as they used to be,
because there's just squad rotation. It's just everything.
Injuries are obviously a big thing this year because of how...
So let's change it, shall we? Should we change the question to the best attack?
Okay, best attack. Oh, blimey. I mean...
I mean, I can't
At the
look
moment.
for farther than Man City for me.
At the moment, yeah.
I mean, who's their best front three? Would you say Sterling, Mahrez, and
I like Phil
Foden, false
Foden.
nine?
I like Phil Foden. I think De Bruyne, Foden,
Play
Mahrez.
false
So
nine,
none of them are that outstanding, are they? But they just all play so well.
You put them together.
They're together.
Yeah.
If it's just the Guardiola, none of their players. You look like Bruno. I mean, De Bruyne obviously.
No.
You got De Bruyne and Foden. I could pick out as the two that I love watching.
You've got Neymar, Mbappe, and Cardi though.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Icardi,
Even though
really?
Cardi, I was about to say Cardi's.
Even Neymar, he's been
Doesn't-
off the pace. And Mbappe looks like he's carrying that
I
front
think
three.
Neymar's still Neymar.
Yeah, but
Neymar's
Neymar.
absolutely still Neymar. When he wants to be, he can still be Neymar.
Yeah,
He's
true.
just lazy.
So I'm going with the best attack, the one I wouldn't want to face
Then
in
again,
Manchester
you've got-
City. But then you still got Messi pace for Barcelona.
You've got Bayern. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about them.
Sané, Lewandowski.
Gnabry.
Actually,
Gnabry.
yeah, that is probably,
Yeah, that's probably better than Man City's
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah,
I mean, just Lewandowski's worth two players, isn't it? On his own.
exactly.
I hope that's a semi-final. I hope they both. I
Yeah.
hope it's City, but that'd be such a sick
Yeah,
game.
I think in terms of names, everyone, front three. A few years ago, that was the dream, wasn't it? Salah, Mane, Firmino up top.
Yeah.
Couldn't go
Yeah.
wrong. Now we're seeing the older side of things where we're just going to have to switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the last Liverpool question, and then I think we'll move on to the quiz after that, is Charlie Sajid says, "Who would you rather in your midfield?" I'm guessing he might be a Leeds fan, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips or Thiago, Jamie? Then we can all answer this as well.
All right, so I love Thiago as a player. I think he plays phenomenal football. He is just so fun to watch. But a season doesn't lie. A season where, yes, he has had a lot of injuries, but when he has been playing, he hasn't. I don't think he scored a goal yet.
Or an assist.
Exactly, one assist. Calvin Phillips, playing for a team that's just got promoted, playing very well. Very well. England call up.
Who would
as
you
well.
pick then?
I think Calvin Phillips at the moment. I think we need.
They
a
serve
lead-
different roles, though, don't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's not the best comparison, but then I don't rate all this. Oh, you can't compare them because they're not exactly the same player.
Yeah.
You still can
They're still a
compare them.
midfielder.
You can compare. For me, I would still take Thiago over Calvin Phillips. I don't see much. I like Phillips, but against us he was average. I've seen him a lot for
Yeah, I
England.
mean, you would take
it's
Declan Rice over
average.
Phillips, wouldn't you?
Well, Declan Rice is just 10 times better than Calvin Phillips. Leeds fans, it's like when Newcastle fans try to compare Sean Longstaff to Declan Rice. Now look at them. And then Rice scored and he shushed the Newcastle fans. Calvin Phillips is better than Sean Longstaff. He's all right, but he's nowhere near Declan Rice's level. And Declan Rice is about 4 years younger than him as well.
I
So
think as well.
Phillips always being Rice's
Thiago
second.
gets injured a lot, and he has done throughout his career.
Phillips got injured recently.
And he's 30.
Yeah.
Isn't
Age. Yeah, okay,
You
yeah.
can get more out of Phillips.
I think the question was more. Oh, I don't know. I'm taking the question more as
It's more just like if you had a game tomorrow.
if I had a game tomorrow, not who I think would buy and look for in the future, because then I probably would put Phillips.
I know, like football isn't all about goals and assists. I mean, I'm a Chelsea fan, and I can't bring up any player that has better stats
Drogba.
than. Yeah, but Drogba's main issue was his stats weren't very good. If you watched him play, he was amazing.
Yeah.
But when I watched Thiago, he doesn't score, he doesn't assist, and it's just sort of like, what does he do?
He is playing in a poor Liverpool team. If you put the Thiago in the Liverpool team last season, they'd be raving lyrical about him.
Yeah, but again, that's a system thing. Like you still bought him in to actually do something. Like he's good on the eye, he can dribble, but it's like he does everything Kovacic does, and Kovacic is having a 10 times better season.
Yeah, I think Thiago. It's harsh to rate him already because Liverpool, the whole team of Liverpool team, he's been poor, but the whole Liverpool team have been poor.
Exactly, yeah.
Give him another season.
Yeah, he could be the best player next
and I'd
season, you never know.
probably take Thiago still over Calvin Phillips.
I think if you're Liverpool, I'd swap Thiago for a player like James Madison.
Yeah,
In a heartbeat.
I agree.
You need a midfielder who can actually create.
That is a good
something.
shout, to be fair. I
Yeah.
didn't think of him.
Like,
Him to Liverpool could
they
be
just
quite a
need
good
a
move.
midfielder who can actually score and assist.
Yeah.
Like
They've got
Coutinho.
5 midfielders who can't score and can't assist, and
Yeah.
they sort of do a job. You need an X factor. If Mane and Salah are having an off game, you need a Coutinho to score a 40-yard
Exactly,
screamer,
exactly.
and that could be James Madison.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, Daniel, do you want to introduce this week's quiz?
Well, I've gone back to the Wikipedia quiz, which I think Joe 2 or 3 episodes ago.
I did it for you and Jack.
Yeah,
Daniel
so-
won.
Yeah, so I
Don't let me see.
No, I'm hiding it. So it's so I just like the concept really. So basically, how this works is
Let me just try.
so
Face
I'm going to
Daniel
go.
for this.
So I go onto a player's Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
And we read out their career from top to bottom, ignoring youth career obviously because I mean that's.
Did
Yeah.
you
that's
watch
gonna
this?
make it
Did you watch
harder.
this last time?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, so we read out a team, their appearances,
So you
and
know
their
how it
goals, which
works.
are only league stats. And I'm going to ask you a player's first team. And I'm going to ask Joe a player's first team. So if you don't get it in the first go, Joe then has a chance to steal, and
Okay, yeah.
second, vice versa.
So,
So,
don't we have different lists?
yeah. So it's 2 different players. So it's 2 different players, but obviously you can get it on the first club or the second club. So
And if we both get it on the same guess, it's a draw.
if you both get the same guess, yeah. I was about to say go on to the next team, but you already got the
Yeah.
player. So how does that work? Right. So actually, I've written Joe's one first. So we'll do yours first.
Okay.
So. Right, Joe.
Yeah.
2013 to 14,
Yeah.
Deportivo Pasto, 14 games, 1 goal.
Isco.
Jamie. From 2003 to 2006, Feyenoord, 69 games, 35 goals. So a bit better than the rest of the players on this list.
Can't be how I thought it was. They're all old.
Just throw a name out there.
Yeah, let's get this.
Oh. I can't. Let's just say Dirk Kuyt. I know it's not
No.
him.
No, not a bad shout. Joe, 2014 to 2016, Santa Fe, 67 games, 7 goals.
Santa Fe. Where are they? They sound Portuguese. So I'm going to go with. I am going to go with João Cancelo.
Jamie, 2004, Excelsior, which is maybe the best team name I've ever heard in my life. Excelsior on loan, 11 games, 4 goals.
That means. Do you know where they're from?
No.
I don't think that'll help on this one anyway.
I know where they're from.
Just throw a name out there. Just throw one out there.
Memphis Depay.
Joe, 2016 to 2017, Palmeiras, 28 games, 6 goals.
Palmeiras.
Yeah, Palmeiras.
Okay, so they're Brazilian. So let's go with Gabriel Jesus.
No,
He played for them.
he did play for them. Jamie, 2006 to 2012,
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
156 games, 36 goals.
I get Palmeiras, he gets Chelsea.
Wait
Oh,
for the next
Robin.
teams.
No.
No. You should have thought about that.
Yeah.
Way too long for Iron Robin. Joe,
Yeah.
2018, Barcelona, 5 games, no goals.
Artur.
Jamie,
What?
2012 to
Why did I rush
2014, Lille, 67 games, 30 goals. Just think about the Chelsea period and not the Lille.
Alright.
Would help more.
When did he leave Chelsea? 2012. 2006 to 2012. Scored 36 goals. Won it in the Premier League. Oh my god. 2012, 14 Lille, 6 games, 30 goals. I'm clueless. I can't even think of a name to say. You've got 20 seconds to an hour, so the podcast has been done, so I'm going to speed up the last 3 minutes. Let's just say...
I don't know. Let's just skip that. I generally can't think of it.
Right. Well, Joe, this is actually your last team. So if
Right.
you don't get it now, you're going to have to use the exact same teams after
Yeah.
Jamie's go. 2018 to present. You're going to get it. 2018 to present, Everton, 61 games, 5 goals.
I know it.
Everton. Okay, I've got a name in my head. I don't want to rush it. It's got to be him. Let's just think. He's still Everton, yeah? Let's just think. So I'm not missing out anyone. What are the goals? 61 games, 5 goals.
got to be Andre Gomez.
Nope. Jamie, from 2014 to 2020, Hertha Berlin, 151 games, 48 goals.
It's don't help me. It's don't help me. I thought these were gettable. I know you were Jamie's, unfortunately, they're mine. I genuinely don't know. Hertha Berlin. From Lille, from Chelsea, from Feyenoord. It's not what I think it is.
I know it's not him because he played for Liverpool. Raul Morelos.
No. He wasn't there for 6 years. Joe, haven't got any other teams.
You still. I can't remember him playing for Barcelona. Can you give us Barcelona stats?
5 games, no goals. So Deportivo Pasto, Santa Fe, Palmeiras, Barcelona.
Okay,
Everton.
so it's got to be. Surely, I didn't realise this guy played for Barcelona at all. But if he did, that's why I don't think he plays for Barcelona. So it can't. Yerry Mina.
It is Yerry
I
Mina.
didn't realise he played for Barcelona.
Oh, he did, yes.
So your last team, Jamie, to try and tie it again.
This isn't going to help.
2020 to present, this won't help at all. Botafogo, 27 games, 1 goal.
Can I guess his if he doesn't get it?
Yeah.
So he's an old bloke now. He's
Feyenoord, Excelsior, Chelsea. Let's not get this, Jamie, because we want to wrap this podcast up in the next 20 minutes and we've got sort of FA Cup to talk about. I don't actually know. Some Dutch bloke.
No, I'm going to have to take the L.
It's weird because he's not actually Dutch, is he, Dan?
No,
Is he
it's
not Dutch?
absolutely not.
He's-
Nowhere near.
He's. I was thinking Dutch as well at the start, but as soon as the Hertha Berlin came up, I knew it was Solomon Kalou.
It is Solomon Kalou. Yeah.
That's annoying.
But unlucky again. We always seem to just edge it, don't we, Dan? 4-0 to the hosts.
We love a Thomas Tuchel 1-0 win.
I know all the answers, and I'm just getting them just before. But no, honestly, it's not fixed.
So that was. I would love to say that was quality quizzing, but I'm afraid that, considering the fact that half of that is going to be cut out or sped up,
Yeah.
you can tell it wasn't.
I thought we were quite good. We got all of them apart from the last one you didn't get.
They were hard.
So I thought we did quite well. Eventually, we got them, but
You must have been digging for a long
They won.
time.
No, they were literally 6 players that come to my head.
yeah, and they were quite good because they were quite similar in
Yeah.
teams played. But so we're gonna always after the quiz we crack straight into our predictions. So
So
Dan,
yeah.
let's go.
So we've got 2 competitions this time. So we've got some Premier League ones.
Yeah.
So actually, they're playing right now as we're filming, but
We don't
none of
know
us
the
have-
score
Yeah,
because
none of
we
us have
haven't
our phones on. So we've got Friday, Fulham against Leeds. I think
Well, people like obviously this isn't live, so it doesn't matter. But
the result will have
Yeah.
been out by the time. we-
currently it's about what's the time? About 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so it'll be about half time.
Yeah.
I would say 1-1.
I'm going 2-1 Fulham at home.
Hey. Leeds either way. I'm going 3-1 Leeds.
Oh, okay, it's high scoring. Saturday there is only Brighton versus Newcastle.
What,
think that's
what
gonna be
game? That's a game.
That's going to be a
What's
2.
that? 3 o'clock.
Must be 2-1 Brighton. I'm going to go.
Yeah, I agree. 2-1 Brighton.
I think every game that we see Newcastle playing, we predict a 0-0 in it, and it usually is a 0-0. I'm going to go 1-0.
Okay. Sunday we've got the big one: West Ham versus Arsenal. What do you reckon on that one?
I'm going to go with my boys this week because one thing I forgot to do this week was to tally out the predictions, but I'll make sure we'll get it in for next week's podcast.
I don't think I did very well again.
I think I did quite well because I did predict us to lose 1-0 to Man United, and we did. But I don't think Arsenal will be as negative as we were last week. I'm hoping we're better than them. We are better than them. So 2-1 West Ham.
Okay. I'm going to go for a random one. I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal.
Okay.
You just hope it is.
No, I genuinely think Arsenal just randomly decided to turn up.
Yeah.
Against
Yeah, but it's
these- in these sort of games.
that's also saying we won't turn up because Arsenal could turn up and we also turn up. Then that's a very good game on your hands.
I think it'll be a good game, and I think 2-2.
2-2.
Okay. And then the other game, Aston Villa versus Tottenham. So Tottenham that were absolutely embarrassed by Dynamo Zagreb. They're going to be down on their luck.
I think no Grealish.
Is Grealish still not back?
If he is, he won't be back.
Harry Boyd says he's going to be back. So you never know.
But Tottenham will bounce back. I think Mourinho will get them the Tottenham to bounce back. Unfortunately, so I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
I'm going to go for a really drab. I'm going to go for a drab 1-0 Villa.
Shout out to Boydie, 4-0 Spurs.
Okay. Right, and then we've got the FA Cup games, which are the more important ones. than any of those boring league games we got. So we got, and then I say the boring game, and then we got Bournemouth, Southampton as the first.
So the first Championship team we've been talking about in this.
Yeah.
Bit of a derby.
South Coast, not historically big derby, but
No.
by location, you could argue.
I think Bournemouth are doing well in the Championship, aren't they?
No, they sacked their managers, didn't they?
Never mind.
They've just beaten Swansea 3-0, I think, last weekend,
Yeah.
in midweek, and Swansea are pushing for automatic. So yeah, they had a good. I think they're pushing. I think they're 7th. They're not quite close.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the Premier League team just to edge it in Southampton. I'm going to go 2-1 Southampton.
I'm going to go 2-0 Bournemouth.
3-2 Southampton.
I think Bournemouth could cause an upset
I
there.
think there's going to be goals.
I think there's not much between them.
Bournemouth aren't great.
Yeah, but there's not much between them because Southampton are on a poor run, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
they
but
won.
they're good enough to beat Bournemouth, in my opinion, if they play their strongest team.
Will they play their strongest team as well?
Yeah,
and
surely.
things like that?
They're not going to go down.
Got
They're not going to
nothing.
get Europe.
Yeah.
Southampton. They've got to go for the FA Cup.
Right, Saturday, Everton versus Man City.
Oh, what game?
Brilliant game.
I think
Three.
this
I'm
would
going
be a
to go.
big upset.
I don't think Everton will cause an upset. City are winning the quadruple 3-1.
Okay.
City, that is 3-1 City.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I don't know. I think they'll edge. I think Man City will win, but it's not going to be comfortable. I think it's going to be. Well, I say it's not going to be comfortable, and I'm going to say it's 2-0 Man City, but it's going to be like a 1-0 and then get a 90th minute to make it 2 to make it look more comfortable.
I would say 3-2 City. I
Okay.
think, yeah.
Their defence is not going to it's not letting in 2 goals.
Yeah, but are they going to play their best defence?
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
they will.
They'll probably play that.
Guardiola
Eric Garcia.
goes for every
Considering-
trophy.
Considering they played, midweek as well, and Everton haven't.
You saw Guardiola rested his team for the league game against Fulham because the league's pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah.
He'll
And
be,
to
he'll
be
be
fair-
playing the strongest squad, and then
Yeah.
they'll rest their team next. It's international break. It's international break,
And we
so
also
they
said
don't
that
need to
yeah.
play their
True.
worst team. 'Cause it's not like they've got a
we
big
also said at
Champions
the
League
beginning that
game
Man
next
City's
week.
bench 11 would come top
Exactly.
on the league.
Yeah.
Well,
so
they're
it
still
doesn't
going to
really
win
matter.
either way.
Yeah. Right, Sunday. Well, you haven't given your.
Yeah, he
have you
did.
given
He
your-
said
you
3-2.
did, sorry. Sunday, Chelsea versus Sheffield United. I think it's just going to be.
I'm going to go 3-0 Sheffield United just to get one back on you. So we're going to go 3-0.
2-1 Sheffield United.
All right, it's just going to be. It's going to be a 1-0 or 2-0. It's just deciding which one I'm going to go for. I think 2-0. 2-0 Chelsea.
Sheffield United. Oh, Chelsea. Oh.
Yeah. Leicester Man United. That one.
That's a good game. Was
That's
that? Was that?
that should hopefully be
Was
good.
that Monday night?
It's on Sunday apparently.
Sunday evening.
Yeah. So Leicester Man United. I hope Leicester win because I think Man United could win the cup.
Yeah.
To be honest. And I want us to win it, obviously.
Man
So
City
I
win it.
think I'm going to go for 2-1 Leicester.
I would agree.
I'm going 1-1 and then Vardy to win it in pens.
Right. Okay. That's all the games then. We've only got a few games.
Yeah, only 8 this weekend. So probably the lowest. That's one week I think we had about 17. So
Yeah, we had a double game. didn't we?
that was with Jack, I think.
That was busy.
So yeah, obviously talking about the FA Cup and predictions, we're gonna have a bit of time now just talking about the great competition, the greatest cup competition in history of football.
It's the oldest cup.
The
competition.
oldest and probably the greatest. Maybe Champions League you could say is better actually now, but historically everyone loves the FA Cup. So I'll start off with a few questions. We've all been supporting our clubs in an FA Cup. Best FA Cup moment
Ooh,
from Morgan Hill 20 again.
best FA Cup moment. I mean, you're thinking Ben Watson.
Wigan.
Let's go. Let's
You're
go.
thinking
Yeah.
Ben Watson
Let's
and Wigan.
yeah. Let's go for ones we've seen. Like, I know I can't. We've won the FA Cup 3 times. I've never watched us, so I can't say.
Well, I loved.
Let's go. Your best FA Cup moment for a different team, and then one for your own team as well.
Yeah, well, different team would definitely be the
Ben Watson. Yeah.
And for our own, I loved the 07 final. It's obviously the first one at Wembley. We won the last one at Wembley, and we won the first one at the new Wembley. So we've got like a spiritual connection to Wembley, really. Well, Didier Drogba absolutely loves the place, doesn't he? I think he scored 10 or 11 goals there. I think the only people who've scored more goals at Wembley are Kane and Son, but that's because Spurs played at Wembley for a couple of seasons in the league, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I remember my first FA Cup final I went to was 2010 against Portsmouth.
Really?
So I was a bit too young for the other two. So I'd probably say that one, 2010. First
Nice.
FA Cup win.
So for me, I'd say best moment as a neutral would probably be Manchester City battering Watford 6-0 a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know if you don't know us, we live fairly near Watford, and then there's a few Watford fans that like to think they're better than they are, and they support Man United and Liverpool, but they also support Watford. So it's like I'll pick one of them and go with that.
I think that's probably my least favourite FA Cup final that's ever existed.
So I loved that. I loved them getting absolutely battered.
On a completely different page.
I love them getting absolutely battered because then all these Watford fans weren't giving it large. And obviously, I went to the FA Cup final in 2006, which heartbreaking. We should have won that FA Cup. It wasn't for one man. Yeah. Heartbreaking. But that semi-final, I remember against Middlesbrough, where Harewood scored. We won 1-0, and I remember it was like the first time ever I cried of happiness. How old was I in 2006? I was 7 years old, so I didn't really I don't know if I gauged how big it was getting to an FA Cup final for West Ham. The first FA Cup final since we won it in 1980. That was our last major trophy as well. But I remember I was just at the end. I was just like crying because I was so happy. But I can't remember. I don't know. 7-year-olds I must have known what was going on because the final, reverse crying when I knew football back then, even at 7 years old. I knew that when we were like 3-1 down on pens, we weren't going to win it. So I ran out of the stadium crying. My dad had to get people to hold me back. But I just pray, one day as a West Ham fan, I just pray, all I want in my whole lifetime is to see us win an FA Cup. I don't care about Premier Leagues, Champions League. I just want an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup. Just one trophy that I can live off and just enjoy, because I haven't never had that. And my dad's had it when he was 10 years old, because he's in 1980. But I've never had it. You can have West Ham fans who are 40 years old and never see us win a major trophy, so at least I'm not that old. But I hope with us improving now, hopefully maybe we'll see us win something in the future. But yes, I've waffled on a bit. But Jamie?
For me, I don't really have many particular moments that I can remember of.
Well, Liverpool just don't do anything in the FA Cup.
What about the Gerrard?
For about 15 years.
Do you remember that?
My memory isn't very clear. For Liverpool, no, I can't remember.
How old are you in 2006?
It would have been 6, wasn't it?
6, yeah.
Yeah, obviously you see clips of it, but I think, sitting there and watching a game, I would have to say the Wigan game and obviously the captain, he's from Aylesbury, isn't he?
Emerson Boyce.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good moment. Everyone appreciate, a small team at the time.
They got Martinez the sack as well, didn't it? Not Mancini, sorry. Martinez won it.
Yeah, so that was...
Okay, so another good question from Philly Pryor is greatest underdog to win the FA Cup, and there's only one answer.
Well, we've just discussed it, haven't we?
It's not Wigan. The last, I don't know if we're the only or the last, but the last team to win the FA Cup in 1980 while being in the second division. We were like second in the championship, so we were getting promoted, and we beat Arsenal, who were top of the top division in the FA Cup.
But by that token, Tottenham won it as a non-league team once.
Yeah, but that was back in May.
And no one actually cares about Tottenham.
Yeah. So I'd say that is the biggest underdog story. A second division team winning the FA Cup. If any second division team won the FA Cup, that would be a massive underdog story. But yeah, Wigan probably up there as well. We agree.
Well, you'd even say Portsmouth in 2008, probably.
Yeah, they were quite a good team though. Like Wigan got relegated, whereas Portsmouth then were like an 8th, like probably like a West Ham now, or
I don't think they were. I mean, they when we beat them in the cup final in 2010 was also the season they finished bottom of the league, so they were sort of on their way down. And obviously they faced Cardiff in the final, so it was either Portsmouth or Cardiff, the championship side, wasn't it?
What happened to all the teams that year? Who did Chelsea go out to?
We went out to Barnsley. I remember Carlo Cudicini.
Is that when Barnsley beat you and Liverpool in the same?
I think it was. Yeah. Carlo Cudicini sort of fluffed across, and they won it in like the 85th minute. We should have won that because I think it was the quarters at that point, and literally we were the only big team left in it, and we were like, oh, this is just an easy. We're going to win this one. That's easy, and then we lost to Barnsley. So it was a free run for Cardiff and Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So
so you got 3 there. Take your pick. The next question for the FA Cup is a good question as well from George WHU. What can be done to bring the magic of the FA Cup back? Because in recent years, you've seen Klopp not take the FA Cup seriously. It's more foreign managers.
Definitely.
big clubs don't really care. Oh, who cares? Oh, we want the FA Cup. We want the Champions League. The FA Cup should be.
I absolutely love the FA Cup.
As big as the Premier League and the Champions League for me. It's a massive trophy.
Last year I 100% would have traded our season for Arsenal's season. And I say that hands down, I would have finished 8th and won an FA Cup, then finish 4th and not win an FA Cup.
Yeah.
I love the FA Cup. I think any time you win it is a good season.
Yeah, I love the FA Cup. Like FA Cup away days are just so different because if you get through, you're in the next round.
It means more to the fans.
But the nostalgia has sort of dwindled a little bit. People don't take it as seriously, do they? Especially if someone like Man City are going to dominate every year, it's like, oh.
Well, it's like the Carabao Cup. It was already on its way out, and
let's call that the League Cup. Let's call it the League Cup.
Yeah, League Cup.
Because it changes
Milk
sponsors
Cup,
every 5 years.
The Milk Cup, the Zenith Data Systems Cup. Or
yes. What was it used to be called? The
Carling Cup. Carling Cup was prime Carling Cup years. Well, I'd say on that question, what could be done to better the FA Cup? I mean, maybe we just scrap the League Cup. If we scrap the League Cup, then you've only got the Prem, Champions League, and FA Cup.
Appreciate it more.
You see, I think that's quite a Super League view.
I don't think so because it's elitist. Because the League Cup is the one that non-league teams can't play.
The Champions League want to get rid of the league. Like UEFA want to try and get us to get rid of the League Cup so they can play more. So you can have 8 teams in the Champions League group.
No, I don't want it because of that. I want it because I just think if you've only got one cup competition to go for, you're more likely to want to go for a cup run. Like teams play weak team, like smaller teams play weak teams in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup anyway. Yeah. So it's like if you get rid of one of them, they're more likely to think, well, we're now playing 40 games a season instead of 45 to 50. Like that's a big swing, isn't it?
I think the League Cup's fine. I wouldn't say that's a problem. The FA Cup in non-league is still massive. Like obviously, like Chesham, my dad's non-league team, who a few years back they went first round of the FA Cup. Bristol Rovers away, 1-1-0. I didn't go because I was busy. But then me and my dad and brother went up to Bradford away in the second round. 2 big league teams for Chesham, and they got beat 4-0. So for non-league teams, it's massive. The FA Cup, the amount of money it brings in for them as well is absolutely huge. And a little team getting a big run in the FA Cup, it's the difference between them surviving or not sometimes. So the magic's definitely alive low in the non-league.
It's just there's just not enough money in it at the moment for a lot of the bigger teams.
Yeah, I think back in the day as well, like back in like 80s, 70s, 80s.
It's because that was the only game that was ever televised.
Yeah.
That's why it's like I think the Chelsea Leeds final in 1970 is still like one of the top 10 most viewed British events on television history.
Isn't that my dad always says that's why Chelsea need to hate each other, isn't it?
Yeah, it all stemmed from that.
Is it the replay or something?
Yeah, well, it was just sort of that whole thing that Chelsea epitomised, the rich, wealthy South, and Leeds epitomised the dirty, gritty North, and it was just sort of like a clash of
myself.
Yeah, just a clash of ideologies. Really.
Yeah,
and that's what started the rivalry, but. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and you can't exactly just say like, oh, just increase the prize money, because if there isn't a demand and if there isn't the viewing figures why don't
the Premier League of filthy rich, why don't the Premier League say, well, actually we're going to set this aside to give it to, so say you make it to the 3rd round of the FA Cup, you get £1 million.
Yeah, but that's
so how many teams make it into the 3rd round of the FA Cup? Was it 4? I think
it's about 64. I think it's 64.
So that's 64 million they're giving out, which that's maybe 500k then, and then as the goes up and up, because imagine a non-league team gets to the 3rd round and gets like £1 million. It would be game changing for them. But I still think they get non-league teams get enough money. I think it's where at the top of the game, fans' attitudes towards the cup as well. If you're like Man City, you win it every year, you're going to get a bit bored of it.
They've won it twice.
I'm more about on the League Cup. But,
League Cup, yeah.
Yeah, so talking about this year's FA Cup, some interesting games. Chelsea have a pretty easy game. Looks like they should be going through the semi-final. Southampton as well, maybe should be getting through. So did Man City probably against Everton. The one that's probably a bit less than Man United, that's second and third in the Prem, probably be the best game. Who do you reckon will win the FA Cup this year?
Well, I mean, I think we've absolutely got a chance to win.
I wish they did the FA Cup like they did. Actually, no, I kind of like not knowing who's got in the next round. But it would be quite good just to see who Chelsea might be playing.
Yeah. I mean, we absolutely all we have to do really is beat Man City. And I mean, on your day, we can absolutely beat Man City.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, just a well coached team like them. They're not aliens, you know. Man United beat them 2-0 literally like a week or two ago. They are beatable. They're just very, very good. If you're on your A game and you coached well and you drilled well, which Tuchel has shown for the last 13 games, we are unbelievably coached well. I mean, we've had one player score against us in 13 games. You know, we can easily win.
I agree.
1-0,
Chelsea probably second favourites for the FA Cup, behind Man City, of course. You see, City though, they when they get to the finals, they're ruthless. They don't lose finals. Man City, they slip up in the semis or the quarters, and usually in cups. But when they hit a final, they seem to just be ruthless. That's why I think if City get to that Champions League final, they'll win it. If they get to the FA Cup final, they'll win it. Because on that day, City are unlike Liverpool. Over 2 legs, they can be a bit like erratic. Yeah. But over 1 leg, you've got to go 90 minutes. You've got to outbeat this team. They'll beat you. They'll beat anyone.
They did lose to Lyon 1-legged last year.
True.
I think it's a mentality. True, I think it's a mentality thing with City where it's just sort of they overthink it.
That wasn't a final,
not a case. It's not a case of like they're not up for it or anything. I think they just sort of like know that they're meant to win, and that plays on their mind. They know against Lyon, like, right, we are the better team. We like everybody is expecting us to win. We need to like sort of show like some sort of tactical nous to ensure like we look really convincing. And they just overthink it, they overdo it, and they just fluff their lines really.
But I think in finals they're ruthless, and if City draw Southampton in the semi-finals, which they probably will, and then they'll get to the final and beat whoever they have to beat.
Yeah,
I think City will win the domestic treble. It's that quadruple,
yeah, well, I mean,
which
is the League Cups are given already because Tottenham aren't winning that.
Yeah, they've got 2 trophies pretty much wrapped up, unless Tottenham aren't going to win that. So, no. And they've got 2 more, which they're in 2 quarterfinals for, which they look like they're going to be fighting on all fronts for. Jamie, who do you reckon win the FA Cup?
Yeah, I mean,
your club's out.
You hate to say it, but just Man City, they're just too strong.
Klopp actually took it a bit more seriously this year.
Yeah, but again, with injuries and things.
Bit of injuries, yeah.
It's just, yeah.
I think now Klopp's got that Champions League and that Premier League. He's going to focus more on the FA Cup, hopefully, because he's one of the managers. Like Arsene Wenger did it for years. Arsene Wenger, after he won it for like the first few times, he paid it no respect, and that's why Arsenal never won a FA Cup. Didn't win a trophy from they won the FA Cup in 2005, and then they didn't win another trophy to 20
It was when they won the league in 2000. Their last FA Cup before that was 2002 against us.
No, I think they won it in 2005, didn't they?
No,
I got told that by an Arsenal fan the other day.
I don't think it was 2005 because I know Man United won
it. But they went a long time without any trophies because Arsene Wenger didn't have the team to win the big trophies, and he didn't take the little trophies seriously. And that's why Klopp, obviously, you're not going to take this. You're never winning them. You see, Guardiola takes every trophy seriously. It's why he wins every League Cup and every other FA Cup.
Yep. I think we perform better when we're the underdogs, and Man City perform.
I mean, we haven't seen a Thomas Tuchel Chelsea versus a Pep Guardiola's Man City yet, so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Maybe they'll face each other in the Champions League final as well. Who knows? There's a long way to go in that though. Yeah, and it could easily not go that way as well, because Chelsea could turn up and Man City could not turn up, and Man City in the Champions League, you just don't know what's going to turn up there either. I think you have a feeling it'll be their year this year though.
Yeah,
don't you?
Yeah.
We got to get past Bayern first,
which I think they will.
I don't know.
Or Bayern will win it again. Whoever's winning, it's be Man City or Bayern, because they'll roll over any of those 4 teams on the other side of the draw. They're rolling over in the final.
Well, more importantly, I mean they've got to beat Everton first. Is that going to be another one of them things where they start overthinking it, just thinking like
no. City other years, yes. City this year, they're ruthless. They lost to Man United. Granted, that was a poor performance. They had a bad start, but ever since then, apart from that Man United game, they looked. And I think that Man United game, they sort of just thought, who even cares if we lose this? But Everton game, they'll be wanting to win it. When City want to win a game, they'll win it.
But with City as well, once they lose a game, it wakes them up and it makes them even hungrier to win. And they just
very very good point.
Yeah, so I just feel like they're just
But we had this exact quadruple chat in 2018 when they were the Centurions, when they got 100 points in the league.
Is that when they won the treble?
No. They when they got 100 points and they got knocked out of the FA Cup by Wigan. They got knocked out of the Champions League by Liverpool comfortably, huh?
That is when they won.
No, 2018-19 was when they won the FA Cup. 2017. I'm on about the Centurions, the 100-point season. It was one of them. That was another one where they were talked about quadruples.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, they talked about quadruples, and they just got absolutely flattened by Liverpool in the quarterfinals before they were even the really good Liverpool.
Well, the year they won the treble.
It's not the treble. It's a treble.
Okay, the year they won the domestic treble. Sorry.
Yeah.
They got knocked out to Tottenham in the Champions League, and everyone in their right mind knows City should have gone through in that game. The Aguero goal was the first time VAR ruined a football game. He was offside, but no one would have complained.
No one would have
complained if that goal went in.
I would also say you conceded 3 goals at home in a Champions League quarter final.
They were poor. But they would have beaten. If they beat Tottenham, they would have beaten Ajax, and they would have given Liverpool a much better game. That Champions League final wouldn't be drab and boring compared to the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can really predict anything until it's happened.
Yeah, but yeah, we're looking forward to some FA Cup games this weekend, as well as some Premier League action that we're all in store for. Next week we have got Jacob on. Jacob doesn't actually support a football team, which is why he supports England, like me and Dan and Jamie as well. You are English, Jamie?
Yeah.
I can guess. Some people are like, no, actually, I've got an Italian grandfather, so I love Italy. Yeah, I'm not English, I'm Scouse. We got Jacob on. We're doing England special, and we're going to do next week. I want to do it a bit. Me and Daniel want to do it a bit differently. We're going to be picking our 23-man squads. We will be featuring an England quiz, and then afterwards we'll be picking our main 11 for the Euros this summer. And we're going to do it a bit differently. Instead of maybe we're going to be sat down, but we're going to have names, and then we're going to have on pieces of paper, and then we're going to make our 23-man squad like that. So maybe we'll have some different camera angles for you as well.
We're not playing 5-4-1. We're gonna give that as a
story. No, we're not playing 5-4-1. So yeah, if you obviously it's the international break next week, so it's going to be all things England, which I'm really looking forward to, and it's hopefully going to be one of the best episodes because I love talking about the Euros and England's team, and we could debate that for hours, like we could debate anything for hours.
Yeah.
But Jamie, how have you enjoyed the podcast?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm sorry for losing for the guests, but
that's all right.
Say sorry, all the other.
You joined Boyd, Scott, and Jack in the losers pile. So you're not there on your own. You've got some friends that you've joined, but it's 4-0 to the hosts, and we do promise we haven't been cheating. So Jamie, how you said you obviously did really. I thought you did well in the quiz. The quiz was difficult, and you gave a good effort of yourself. You didn't go home like with your head in your hands. I thought you did well, but yeah, like I always say to everyone, do you just want to say this is the outro?
Yeah.
And then point anywhere.
This is the outro.